2022 committee meetings of Dubbo Regional Council. I advise that Council is now web streaming its standing committees and council meetings live to the internet, and as such, all those present should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Your attendance at this meeting is your acceptance of the condition that your image may be recorded and streamed to the internet, as well as being retained in the archive of the recorded council meetings and standing committee meetings. I now open the October 2022 Infrastructure Planning and Environment Committee meeting, the time being 5:31 p.m. I note that the Mayor, Councillor Dickerson, is attending via Teams. First item is IPEC 22/46, leave of absence. Apologies have been received from Councillors Etheridge and Ivey. Can I please have someone move that the apologies of Councillors Etheridge and Ivey be accepted? Moved Councillor Wells, seconded Councillor Chowdhury. Any questions or debate, councillors? There being none, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Next item is item IPEC 22/47, conflicts of interest. Does anyone have any conflicts of interest to declare? There being none, we'll move on. Item IPEC 22/48, provision of credit to users of potable water in Geary and Dubbo during the boiled water alert period. Can I please have someone move the report of the Director Infrastructure? Councillor Goff, seconded by Councillor Chowdhury. Councillor Goff, do you wish to speak to that motion?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions or debate, councillors? Councillor Chowdhury.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I really appreciate that excess rebate being assessed. But I have a question, like how there was some calculation, how they make this calculation, if someone can explain, please.
To the CEO.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Ryan, Director of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, the calculations there were based on Canstar Blue, looking at what their electricity costs are for boiling water. So this was a boil water alert, and using those calculations for the electricity consumption, then worked out what each individual household would have paid per person for 3 litres of consumption of water. And that is variable because the boil water alert was lifted at different times when different zones served by the reservoirs were cleared. So that's why it's not a one price for all. It's actually a staged pricing if we were to consider a credit.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Any further questions, Councillor Chowdhury?
Because I can see the calculation is 56,151, and the like a staff time is 203,000. So if you can kindly explain a little bit, please.
Mr. Wood.
Mr. Ryan.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, the 56,000, that's based on the electricity charges. The 203,000 is staff time to actually process those credits. So it is a manual process, and it takes about 20 minutes per credit, and we've got 17,000 credit notices that we would have to do there. So looking at that, it's about, if we had one person doing it, it would take 166 weeks to do that, and the cost of that's $203,000.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Any other questions or comments, councillors? Councillor Wright.
Through you again, Mr. Chair. Obviously, we had a pretty significant rain event over the weekend, and I guess there's probably people in the community that are a bit concerned about how the water treatment might perform going forward, and whether there's a likelihood that this sort of thing might happen again. Can you tell us a little bit about how the water treatment plant actually handled that significant water through the weekend, and why we're not back in another boil water alert at the moment?
Thank you, Councillor Wright. To the CEO.
I'll just say something before I pass on to the Director. So it's worth noting that the standards changed in late 2020, so that previously the plant could meet it's a rate of 1 turbidity unit, and that was the measure. That was lowered in November 2020 to be 0.5, and so that's why some commentary around, we've had floods before, why didn't this happen? So that's an important point to note. And then there's been some reconfiguration to get us out of the boil water alert, but for that detail I'll pass to Mr. Ryan.
Sure. Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Certainly the way we operate the plants now is slightly different in terms of receiving those flood warnings and preparing for an influx of water that's having like a first flush of the system. So when we get the flood warnings now, we actually top the reservoirs up to about 90%, and that can actually sustain us to allow that first flush of water to go through. And then once that's gone through, the guys at the plant do the testing to make sure that we're actually able to treat that water, and when we can do that, well, then we can start production again. But it's really that preemptive stuff of topping up so that we've got a supply there in the system to allow that first flush to come through.
And reconfiguring the plant? Is the board of water any details on the filtration capability?
Yep, so
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
one of the, through you, Mr. Chair, one of the, just these minor changes that we've tinkered with is the addition of a polymer fibre, which we needed to address the turbidity issue. So you actually need stuff in there for it to cling onto to be able to then treat it. Usually we do that at 0.1, but we can get that up to 0.5 now. So we had advice from Department of Health, and we've actually reconfigured some pumps to be able to do that. So that gives us a greater range of being able to treat for turbidity if that comes back into the treatment plant.
Thank you, Mr Ryan. Councillor Wright, any further supplementary questions? Any other questions or comments, councillors? I'll ask the mover, Councillor Goff. Do you want a right of reply?
No, thank you, Mr Chair.
I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. The next item, IPEC 22/49, disabled car spaces, Warren Street and Arthur Street in Wellington. Councillor Mann, I believe that you have an alternate motion coming out of the report of the Senior Traffic Engineer.
Yes, thank you, Mr Chairman. The Council approved the removal of the disabled parking spaces in Warren Street adjacent to the Wellington Aquatic Centre and in Arthur Street adjacent 78 Arthur Street, Wellington.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Have we got a seconder for that? Councillor Chowdhury, thank you. Councillor Mann, would you like to speak to that motion at all?
Not particularly. The advice is these parking spaces are no longer required, and particularly around the pool, they've been supplemented by new parking spaces adjacent to the car park. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Any questions, debate, comments, councillors? I assume that Councillor Mann doesn't want to write a reply to his own comment. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. The next item is IPEC 22/50, 2022 Alpine Classic event. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Senior Traffic Engineer? Councillor Chowdhury, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Wright. Councillor Chowdhury, would you like to speak to that motion?
Thank you, Mr Chair. It's well explained.
Thank you. Any other questions or debates, councillors? Councillor Wright?
Just a couple of comments. Actually, I obviously encourage these events to come to our region. There's a bit of a money spinner in it. There might be a bit of community, some community queries around the fact that we're encouraging a car rally to be speeding through the region. Can you just give maybe the community a bit of comfort with respect to what this classic car rally would actually entail?
Thank you, Councillor Wright. I'll ask the CEO, Mr Wood.
And I'll defer to Mr Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Yes, it's called a rally, but it's not actually a speeding rally, so it's a touring road event. This is more about navigational skills rather than speed skills. So the participants of this, there's about 80 vehicles. They're required to obey all road rules, so it's not get there quick. It is a staged event, and there are 1 minute intervals before the start, but that's purely about navigating through regional New South Wales.
Thank you, Mr Ryan.
Thank you. I'm sure some will be relieved at that, and some will be disappointed at that. But,
We account for all people here, Councillor Wright. Any other questions or comments? Councillors, debate? No. Councillor Mann is the mover of the motion. Would you like to... Oh, Councillor Chowdhury, was it? Can't keep up, so many things going on. Do you have anything to add?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury. Then I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. The next item is IPEC 22/51, Building Summary, September 2022. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Director, Development and Environment? Councillor Mann, and seconded by Councillor Chowdhury. Councillor Mann, would you like to speak to that motion?
Just to comment, it's fantastic to see depends which news service you subscribe to. They're talking all sorts of doom and gloom, yet obviously here in Dubbo, with the 43 approvals this month, which is a very high point for the last several months, and according to staff, there's a lot more on the way too, so that certainly hasn't slowed down around here. And those people that have been trying to find a tradie or whatever, that's probably part of your reason. So it's great to see that the development in Dubbo just keeps going. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. Any other comments, questions or debate? Councillors, Councillor Chowdhury.
Through the chair to you, we can see fantastic result for this month. I'm just through you to asking a question. Is there any forecast to upcoming months? We can see this bit more is coming, more application coming through to us.
Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury. I'll ask the CEO, Mr. Wood.
Yeah, and through to you, through to Mr. Wallace.
Through the chair, it's almost difficult to forecast accurately, but certainly the volume of applications, the volume of residential applications, the volume of more significant applications would indicate that we're in for a year that might look better than last year at this stage. It's an early call, but certainly trajectory is quite positive in that respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Any other? Councillor Wright.
Just through you again, Mr. Chair, I noticed there's a significant $27.5 million recreational use DA in there. I'm just wondering if we can get a little bit of elaboration on what that might be.
Mr. Wood.
Through to Mr. Wallace.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that would be the sports hub that was approved, that was long awaited, worth $27.6 million, based out of CSU.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, comments or debate? Councillors? There being none, we'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. The next item is IPEC 22/52, Planning Proposal R22-002, Cavell Drive, Dubbo, Proposed Amendment to the Dubbo Regional Local Environment Plan 2022. Can I please have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Graduate Growth Planner? Councillor Wright, seconded by Councillor Goff. Councillor Wright, would you like to speak to that?
Look, only to say that the addition of 14 extra blocks of land in an already developing part of the city would be welcome. And looking at the proposal itself, it's a pretty natural add-on. Can't see it causing too much grief for those existing residents, but certainly another 14 blocks of land would be well and truly welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Any other questions or comments, councillors? There being none, I'll put the mover. We need a mover. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? I declare the motion carried. There are no further items for consideration of the Infrastructure, Planning and Environment Committee, and I declare the meeting closed, the time being 5:44 p.m.
I now open the October 2022 Culture and Community Committee meeting. I note that Mayor Councillor Dickerson is attending via Teams. Item CCC 22/48, Leave of Absence. The first item of business is an apology. I've received apologies from Councillors Etheridge and Councillor Ivey. Can I have someone move the apologies? Councillor Chowdhury, second by Councillor Mann. Any questions or debate? All those in favour? Moved. I declare the motion moved. Item CCC 22/29, Conflicts of Interest. Does anyone have any conflicts of interest to declare? Councillor Chowdhury?
Yeah, I have a conflict of interest for CCC 22/54, non-pecuniary less than significant, and I'll leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury.
With non-pecuniary, that sort of through, Madam Chair, could I just ask a clarification question just in terms of record keeping?
Yes.
Non-pecuniary, non-significant, is your main living is there?
Yes, I own the property there. Yes, that's right.
We're okay?
Yep.
Okay. Item CCC 22/50, report of the Spark Committee, meeting 15th of August 2022. Can I have someone move the report of the Spark Committee be noted? Councillor Bright, second by Councillor Black. Sorry, I can't read today. Councillor Wright, do you want to speak to the motion?
Look, only a basic comment that was the first meeting of the Spark Committee, and was well attended. There's some genuine interest in the room and some energy in that committee to come up with some different ideas going forward. So I look forward to see what the Spark Committee can come up with over the next 4 months.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Any other questions or debate? Councillor Chowdhury?
Through the chair, I just make a comment, there was a public artist release update, and it's really good. I've seen a lot of positive feedback on Facebook, and I've met a few people. They're really, really keen to see the sort of diversity within our region. So hopefully this public artist release will bring more interest to our region.
Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury. Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 22/51, report of the Aquatics Party Working Party meeting on the 19th of September 2022. Can I have someone move the report of the Aquatics Working Party be noted? Moved by Councillor Black, second by Councillor Wells. Councillor Black, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just very briefly, thank you, Madam Chair. It's very exciting to see and hear some of the things that are going on at the Olympic Pool and the Wellington and Geary pools at the moment, and really gearing up for a big season, hampered only by recent rainfall, as everyone knows, and cooler weather. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or debate? All those in favour? No. I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 22/52, report of the Reconciliation Action Plan Working Group, meeting on the 27th of September 2022. Can I have someone move the report of the Reconciliation Action Working Plan Group? Moved by Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Wells. Councillor Burns, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, all right. Am I supposed to stand?
No.
Okay.
Casual.
So we've only had one meeting, but it looks pretty good. And we were supposed to have another meeting yesterday, but too many apologies cancelled that. So, but it's coming together nicely, and we're going to have the wrap done hopefully by August.
Thank you, Councillor Burns. Any other discussions or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 22/53, the report of the Social Justice Advisory Committee, meeting on the 27th of September. Can I have someone move the report of the Social Justice Advisory Committee be noted? Moved by Councillor Wells, second by Councillor Chowdhury. Councillor Wells, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Look, it was really good. It was the very first committee meeting for the Social Justice Committee. There was a really, I think, good interaction with the attendants from the local health district. We spoke about the Alcohol and Other Drugs Rehabilitation Centre and the progress on that. They hope to come back to the very next meeting so we can get some more information. It was really good to see that there was a lot of attendance there, a lot of people really invested in social justice for the Dubbo regional community.
Thank you, Councillor Burns. Wells.
That's my maiden name.
I knew that. Councillor Chowdhury.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, Mr. Chair, because there was a lot of interest in drug and alcohol rehabilitation centre need to be in Dubbo. Just through you, Chair, asking, is there land been identified yet?
Mr. Woods.
I will pass that on to Ms. Bathington.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, they have identified, New South Wales Health have identified land. We are having ongoing conversations with them just to make sure that we have an alternate land if that was to, for whatever reason, fall through, but they're not willing to release where that land is located as yet.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or debate?
Madam.
Councillor Black.
Just a question through you, Madam Chair. Was there any indication when that might be announced, the site?
Through you,
Site?
Mr. Wood.
And we can put this back in place.
Not through you, Madam Chair. They're not committing to a date yet. It's probably the short answer. They are hoping to release it soon, but I guess it just depends if they get any hurdles along the way.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Item CCC 22/54, South Lakes Maintenance Agreement with Mars Group Properties South Lakes Primary Limited. Councillor Chowdhury.
Yeah, I need to change my declaration. I declare the significant interest in that matter of CCC 22/54 because I want the resident. Yeah, and I'll leave the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Where's that go? Okay. Can I have someone move the recommendation of the report of the Manager of Recreation and Open Space? Moved by Councillor Black, second by Councillor Wright. Councillor Black, would you like to speak to your motion?
Just very briefly, thank you, Madam Chair. This just really puts in place an agreement between council and the developers, Mars Group, to do gardening, if you would like, and keep the place looking beautiful along South Lakes, and as part of the developer contributions for a period of 10 years, I think it was. So, yeah, just all, it's no expense to council at the moment, and that will be changed later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Black. Any other discussion or debate? All those in favour? I declare the motion carried. Oh, look, I got a quick one. Welcome back. There is no other further items for consideration on the Culture and Community Committee, and I declare the meeting closed at the time being 5:53 p.m.
I now open the October 2022 Corporate Services Committee meeting. I note that the Mayor, Councillor Dickinson, is attending via Teams. First item, CSC 22/42, leave of absence. The first item of business is apologies, and I've received apologies from Councillors Etheridge and Ivey. Can I please have someone move that the apologies from Councillor Etheridge and Ivey be accepted? Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Chowdhury. Any questions or debate? I'll put to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item CSC 22/43, conflicts of interest. Does anyone have any conflicts of interest to declare in this meeting? No conflicts. Thank you. Item CSC 22/44, a report of the Wellington Town Committee, meeting 6th of September 2022. Can I please have someone move that the report of the Wellington Town Committee be noted? Councillor Goff, seconded by Councillor Chowdhury. Councillor Goff, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I'll just say it was a good turn-up for the first meeting, and a lot of people from different aspects of the community in Wellington, so it'll be good to see some positive outcomes.
Any more questions or debate? I'll put to the vote. Those in favour? That's carried. Move on to item CSC 22/44, report of the Wellington Town Committee. That's a duplication. There you go. We'll go, we've got it again there. There we go. We'll get it here eventually. Sorry? That's okay. Item CSC 22/45, please note. Report of the Dubbo Regional Livestock Market Advisory Committee, meeting 13th of September 2022. Can I please have someone the report of the committee be noted. Councillor Chowdhury, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Black. Would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Chowdhury?
No, all good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions or debate? I'd just like to make a comment. I was at that meeting. It was a very good meeting. Some really energetic people in the room. We spent some time, as you'll see in the minutes, regarding the service review and what will come through on that. And we're very clear that it's one of the many service reviews that will be part of the processes for this year. Each of the different divisions will go through that process. No more comments or debate? No? All those in favour? That's carried. CSC 2246, report of the Financial Performance Committee meeting 20th of September 2022. Can I please have someone move the report of the Financial Performance Committee be noted? Councillor Wright, and seconded by Councillor Wells. Councillor Wright, would you like to speak to the motion?
Oh, look, just to make a point, obviously this committee is made up of councillors and staff, so there are no external sort of public members of that particular committee. Look, the council will continue to have financial challenges moving forward, and I think this council is sort of showing, with respect to those service reviews, constantly on the lookout for government assistance in the form of grants, etc., to try and help with that bottom line. But rest assured, the committee and the council will continue to look at ways of creating some efficiencies going forward and turning that bottom line around.
Thanks, Councillor. Any more comment or debate? Councillor Chowdhury.
Through the chair, I have one question. There was a service review program for Wellington Cave, and someone can a little bit explain what that presentation was for.
Mr. Wood.
If I can beg the council's indulgence, there's another item on the agenda, the update on the service review program, and that'll go into much more detail as part of the presentation. So if you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury.
Thank you. Any more questions or debate?
Through the chair, I have one last question. It's for that if you can get some little bit update for finance dashboard update, because we have some time frame set for the community. So just get some update, please.
Through this, a presentation to the committee was made, and certainly calling out those how to present the financial information. Some of the councils will recall the quarterly budget review process. The accounts for local government are a little bit different and can be complex. So there was a presentation to the Financial Performance Committee in that regard to make it, I guess, more powerful from a council's point of view, so it can be more readily digested and therefore inform policy decision making. Then also there was the dashboards in particular was used to illustrate the performance of those income generating, not necessarily profit. So for example, pools don't necessarily generate a profit, they provide a community service. But there was the dashboard in that regard. So we'll certainly distribute that through the councillors, and indeed at quarterly budget review you should notice that difference as well.
Thank you.
Okay, any more comments or debate on that? We'll put the motion. Those in favour? That's also carried. Item CSC 22/47, investment under the Section 625 of the Local Government Act, September 2022. Can I please have someone move the report of the Chief Financial Officer be noted? Councillor Goff, thank you. Seconded Councillor Black. Councillor Goff, any commentary on that?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Nothing? Anyone else have any questions or debate on that? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Motion carried. Item CSC 22/48, update on the service review program and business improvement initiatives. Can I please have someone move the report of the Director of Strategy, Partnerships and Engagements be adopted? Thank you, Councillor Chowdhury. Seconded Councillor Goff. So at this stage we'll pause. The Director of Strategy, Partnerships and Engagement will provide a presentation for this. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, evening councillors. So listed in the agenda tonight, obviously, is the update of the service review program. It was thought that it would be beneficial to council and to the broader community for a presentation providing the background and context of this important program be provided. And then we'll also provide some further information regarding some specific service reviews, including the Wellington Caves that was just requested by Councillor Chowdhury. I state that this program is important not because I oversee it or not because it is legislated, but because this program will provide this council, the organisation and community with much needed opportunity to review and appropriately consider services or service levels of the council in line with community expectations and community benefit of such services. Doing this is not only important to ensure that the services we provide to the community meet expectations, are of benefit and provide value for money, but it is equally important that this program provides an avenue to increase and potentially improve the conversations we are having with community and that community are having with each other. These conversations around prioritisation, around expectations and around community willingness, or perhaps more appropriately important, capacity to pay. I recently spoke at an integrated planning conference and had the opportunity to engage with colleagues across the state, and it was interesting to see the challenges that some practitioners were having with either engaging with their council or their executive in their own service review program. Whilst I certainly could not speak for council, I felt comfortable speaking for the DRC executive, and that for us, such a program is certainly not seen as a tick-the-box exercise or something we intend to apply limited attention to. There is a collective executive belief that undertaking such reviews will be key to securing a sustainable future for this council, or at the very least increase awareness internally and externally as to why such a future may be difficult to achieve if we cannot efficiently provide the services our community require within the resources we have, or that following some robust discussion our community is unable to alter their expectations. Whilst this is not a presentation on financial sustainability, it would be amiss of me not to draw council and community's attention to the opportunity that this service review program and its related research, engagement and decision-making process will provide as part of a broader body of work to ensure that DRC's long-term financial sustainability is achieved. So just a brief background around the service review program, the processes and its purpose. So Council has obligations under the Section 42A of the Local Government Act to undertake service reviews under the auspice of audit, risk and improvement committees. Whilst it is an obligation, there is minimal direction that's provided to Council on how reviews are undertaken, what is reviewed or how many reviews are done. Council endorsed a proposed 18-month service review program earlier this year, and whilst the service areas are identified for review, the endorsed program only provides direction to the identified areas. It does not define any scopes of the reviews. This further definition remains as an operational accountability of the CEO working within the direction set by the Council. However, there may be times that the strategic direction on a proposed review will be sought from Council. This is likely to be on the reviews that are exploring the potential of a service delivery change. Now, this is not suggesting that a change to any services is endorsed, but rather ensuring that the Council is comfortable with the resources being utilised to explore a potential change. There is no value in a review having the objective to explore alternative service delivery models if there is no appetite for Council to consider such alternatives, regardless of the findings of any review. This simply wastes limited resources and engages our community, or potentially causes angst within the community, in a process that will ultimately not inform any decision making. So progress of the endorsed program is reported to the Audit and Risk Management Committee and then ultimately through to Council through those minutes. The findings of any review that has potential to change a service that will either have a significant impact to our community, to be a change in service delivery or structure, or require investment beyond endorsed budget will always be required to come before Council for consideration and decision making. So a little bit about the purpose of service reviews. A common objective for service reviews is to ensure value for money for our ratepayers. Reviews help to identify the mix of services and funding arrangements that best meet our community needs. As mentioned in the report, the objective of any service review, exploring service delivery models, is not centred on necessarily finding an alternative model. The process, in fact, may just prove that the current approach is providing the best value money for our ratepayers. Such an outcome is just as valuable in confirming that we are doing what community needs in an effective way. A service review could be centred on a number of outcomes, such as potential rationalisation of services, exploring efficiencies or finding cost savings, alternative service delivery, the potential for divestment or minimising corporate risks. Now, whilst these outcomes are more centred on rationalisation or financial measures, and for some could be perceived in a negative light, just as equally, service reviews can be centred on improved service delivery, identifying income generation, responding to changing customer priorities and needs, aligning services with council's visions, building staff capacity and skills. Now, when you consider it in those points, that now reframes the process to potentially more a positive light. Regardless of the scope or the intended outcome, all service reviews are being undertaken with one shared purpose, which is to best ensure community value. The challenge is that we all see value through different lenses. And as we are serving a diverse, large regional community with growing expectations and rightfully so, big aspirations for their future, it is critical that the service reviews provide opportunity for appropriate community input with evidence and data to inform any needed decisions or directions. So in structuring the service review program at WA Regional Council, reviews are to be classified at 3 levels. Being a level 1 is where we explore the what we are doing. This could be a process, a specific defined service delivery area. Level 2 is looking at the how we are achieving. This is service delivery structures, resourcing or post-project learnings or key function reviews. And level 3, probably more your major significant reviews, is about the why we are doing. And this is taking time to examine full functions or service areas in the context of the challenges and opportunities, considering why we are operating that way, defining expected performance levels, or considering alternate service delivery models. In adopting the new senior structure in June this year and the KPIs that you have provided to the CEO to implement a service review program and ensure that such related benefits are realised, the intention to Council's strategic focus to improve service delivery and to achieve financial sustainability has been set in motion. The development of the new Strategy, Partnerships and Engagement division as part of that process and the associated investment and operational focus that has resulted in an internal agency capability being established will, among many other things, be accountable for leading the service review program. So to support the undertaking of the program and the implementation of the resulting outcomes, to realise the identified benefits, the organisation identified that we need to build capability and capacity to achieve this. This is to ensure we don't just do reviews, but we do them well. So this in part has been addressed in the recent organisational changes within the Strategy, Partnerships and Engagement division, which now includes a number of new roles for the organisation. Firstly, a corporate strategy and performance coordinator that will coordinate the annual service review program, including management or support of programs, coordinate our IPNR, also drive the framing of service delivery with distinct outcomes, and also central registration around business improvement initiatives. So the other role is an engagement and service optimisation coordinator. Now, previously we had community engagement sit within our communications function, and certainly we heard loud and clear from this council that we wanted to look at different ways and better ways to engage with our community. Now, we've taken a very deliberate decision to move engagement from our communications function to our customer experience area. Now, this is really to support a more holistic approach to engagement and really moving it to about understanding and hearing what our community wants without being consumed by essentially what we want to tell community. Engagement capability is obviously critical to support the service reviews. This is not only about gaining input, participation and understanding through a review, but also identifying the opportunity and the need to review a service. And within our organisational performance division, we have also recently recruited a manager commercial strategy. So this role will not only provide strategic leadership to our key commercial business units of council, of the airport and the livestock market, but will provide valuable commercial insight to reviews and related potential commercial-based opportunities that provide value to our community in direct terms of income to support sustainability and service delivery. So this slide is provided, I guess, not to go into too much operational detail, but I guess I wanted to set the context of how important scope definition is going to be in any service review. We will have a process of undertaking these service reviews, which includes, as that step one identifies, a project brief. Now, within this step is about scope definition, and this is critical to managing internal and external stakeholder expectations and potential angst. This is particularly important with reviews that have high community exposure or impact. So, So as the report identifies, I've provided an update of all the service review plans that are underway, but I wanted to draw out in the presentation 2 key reviews that are coming up to, I guess, lean to that point around scope definition and agreement. The DRLM service review project that was mentioned earlier in the evening, that was discussed with the DRLM Community Committee, is underway, and this will be led by that commercial manager who will be starting soon. So the description of the scope is that the review was initiated to explore the most effective and efficient business structure for the continued operation of the livestock markets. So the objective of this review about, what will it identify, answer, direct or inform the council on, is about exploring 3 models for the ongoing operation of DRLM. This ranges from the council continuing to own and operate the facility, but this would be with an improvement on the status quo, and it may include the establishment of a special purpose vehicle. The second option, looking at selling the leasehold of the facility, that DRC retain ownership of the site as a landlord. Or thirdly, selling both the freehold and the leasehold of the facility. Now, in undertaking the exploration of these 3 models, it's important to understand how they will be examined across 4 key positions. And again, as I mentioned before, value, we all wear different lenses on value, so it's important to identify, well, how is value going to be potentially established in this review? So there's been 4 areas identified. So firstly, financial terms, about the potential community benefit of increased revenue. The second, efficiency terms, the potential redirection of council's direct and indirect resources related to the business. Effectiveness terms, so this is alternate business structure could provide a better operating environment for stakeholders and the broader industry. And lastly, governance terms, will any change minimise identified corporate risk to the organisation? Importantly, and as put in bold on that presentation, this review will inform a report to council for a decision regarding the future of the DRLM business structure. So then the next one is the proposed scope for the Wellington Caves service reviews, and this was discussed with the Financial Performance Committee and has been discussed internally and is referred to in the report. The scope of this project is around exploring the potential alternative service delivery models for all or some of the service to ensure the most effective and efficient business structure for the continued operation of the Wellington Caves and Caravan Park. The review would explore the potential service delivery models that would ensure ongoing provision of the service to an agreed level and value for ratepayers. Now, this will happen through establishing insight to the current service delivery, considering alternative service delivery mechanisms, considering the provision of services through strategic partnerships, potentially with other organisations, considering the potential benefits and impacts of alternative service delivery, and lastly, examining the need or value of future capital or operational investment. So as you can see in those points, there's quite a broad range of avenues that are to be explored. And this is because, regardless of whatever that outcome is, there will be some decisions that need to be made by this council around the role that we play in that business, or our appetite for potential future investment or further investment in that business to return greater benefit to community. And again, the review will inform a report to council for a decision regarding the potential options for alternative service delivery models. The Wellington Caves proposal is essentially a step behind the DRLM one. That review will actually come back to council for then further direction from council around the exploration of any of those options. Whilst there'll be a level of analysis undertaken, we certainly will do a body of work, but then we will come back to council to see and test any appetite for any of those to be further explored, which is like what's happening at the DRLM. But as mentioned before, it's not a great use of resources for us to, spend months undertaking reviews if there's no appetite for council based off some of the initial analysis that may come out. And then lastly, As mentioned in the final part of the report, it provides a table of business improvement initiatives that have been led by team members across the organisation. I wanted to highlight this table to recognise that the organisation does not need to wait for targeted service reviews to examine and improve the day-to-day services that we're providing to our community. Directly, these initiatives improve customer service outcomes, staff engagement through better processes, and financial benefits to the community through efficiencies or productivity. But importantly also, they provide increased visibility and recognition of business improvement and supports positive workplace culture, organisational reputation and accountability for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks for that great presentation. So, Councillor Chowdhury, do you want to speak to the motion?
No, good, thank you.
Yeah, good, thank you. Any other questions or debate, councillors? Councillor Wells.
Just looking through the report, and there's a reference in the report about the upkeep and looking at the adding cemeteries across the LGA. This is not necessarily to do with this specific report, but there are some concerns coming through from community around cemeteries, the particular cemetery in Wellington, and I think it's an opportunity for us to start to have communication with community around some of the concerns raised around the recent flood activity, particularly in Wellington. I'm just making that point. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Wells. Any other comments or questions or debate? If not, I will put the motion. All those in favour? That motion is carried. Item CSC 22/49, Draft Council Policy, Councillor and Staff Interaction. Can I please have someone move the report of the government's team leader be adopted? Councillor Goff.
We have an amendment.
Oh, okay, sorry, Councillor Goff. We have an amendment? Alternative motion. Okay, alternative motion.
Read on what's given to you. The recommendation is that the revived draft council policy, councillor and staff interactions be placed on public exhibition for 28 days. 2, the changes be made to Part 8, 8.1G to remove the word especially and add the words in regards to high risk development matters, and Part 8, 8.1H to remove the word controversial prior to going on public exhibition. 3, that a further report be provided to Council after the public exhibition period. And 4, that any changes issued by Office of Local Government that impact this policy will be amended immediately.
Thanks, Councillor Goff. Can I have a seconder for the alternative motion, please? Councillor Chowdhury, thank you. Councillor Goff, any more you'd like to speak to on the alternative motion?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, thank you. Any questions or debate on the motion? Councillor Wright.
More just a comment. I noticed the amendment to that particular policy was only a number of smaller items. But again, I noticed that a lot of the policies that we do adopt do go for community to view. So that change obviously just outlines the fact that the council one does want to be transparent with regards to these types of policies, and it'll give the community an opportunity to have a look at those. So I'd happily support that amendment to that motion or that alternate motion. So.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other questions or debate?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Goff, yep.
I wanted to make this amendment because I just feel the community needs more encouragement that we are trying to be as transparent as possible.
Thanks, Councillor Goff. Any other questions or debate, please, councillors? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Okay, so that motion is carried. Item CSC 22/50, Draft Council Policy on Petitions. Can I please have someone move the report of the government's team leader to be adopted? Councillor Goff, thank you.
I have another amendment.
Sorry, an alternative motion. Okay. Councillor Goff, thank you.
Read it. A recommendation, one, that the draft council policy petitions, which has been based on New South Wales Parliament procedures and attached as Appendix 1 to this report, is placed on public exhibition for 28 days. 2, that the ability to host online e-petitions in accordance with practices of the New South Wales Parliament be undertaken with a subsequent report brought to Council for its consideration. 3, that a further report be provided to Council after the public exhibition period.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Chowdhury? Councillor Goff, anything to speak to that motion?
Yes, Mr Chair. This is just to reiterate that we, as a council body, we're being very transparent and open.
Any other questions or debate, councillors? Councillor Wright.
Just a comment again. I know that this come to light just recently, obviously off the back of a petition that was actually provided to council. So, and I must say, as a maybe as a new council, I wasn't even aware that we had a petitions policy. So it's good to get that out in the open, and so we all know what sort of playing field we're dealing with when it comes to petitions. Great also that we're sort of stepping up a bit into the current day with the opportunity for e-petitions as well, which I believe will be included in this policy too. So yeah, great that the community will get to have a bit of say in it and provide some feedback. So I hope they take that opportunity if they need to.
Thanks, councillor. Any other comments or debate? If not, we'll put that motion. All those in favour, please. That's carried. Item CSC 22/51, Local Government New South Wales 2022 Annual Conference. Can I please have someone move the report of the governance team leader be adopted? Thanks, Councillor Chowdhury. Seconded, Councillor Wells. Councillor Chowdhury, any questions or debate?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Or would you like to speak to the motion, I should say? Any other questions or debate, councillors? Okay, no more questions or debate. I will put that motion, please. All those in favour? That one is carried. There are no further items for consideration of the Corporate Services Committee, and I declare the meeting closed, the time being 6:25 p.m. Web streaming has now been completed. Thank you for your attendance.